Hey there and welcome. Let's talk about something I think we all feel. This sense that life is way harder than it needs to be. Well, today we're going to explore a completely different approach. One that's about finding an easier, more natural way to get through your day. I mean, does it ever feel like you're just swimming upstream? You're pushing, you're paddling like crazy, you're trying to make things happen, and at the end of the day, you're just completely wiped out. It's not just you. That feeling is almost an epidemic in our world. And this strain, this constant effort, it really is a signature of modern life, isn't it? We're all juggling so much, deadlines, expectations, and never-ending fire hose of information. And the message we get is always the same: hustle more, grind harder, push through. But what if that's the exact reason everything feels so difficult? It's kind of a radical thought, right? Because our entire culture celebrates the struggle, the hustle. But what if the real secret to a more effective and, honestly, a more fulfilling life isn't about applying more force? What if it's about learning how to move with the current instead of fighting it? What if everything we've been taught about success is, well, just plain wrong? Okay, so this brings us to a really ancient and powerful idea called the Tao. And look, don't let the name scare you. You don't need to be a philosopher to get this. We're going to break this down into some really simple, practical ideas you can literally start using today. So the Tao isn't some destination you have to find. It's the rhythm that's already happening all around you. Think about it. A tree doesn't get stressed out about growing. It just grows. The seasons don't argue with each other. They just transition. So the big question for us becomes, how do we get back in sync with that natural flow instead of spending all our energy resisting it? Water is probably the best teacher for this idea. I mean, it's soft, right? It yields. It adapts to whatever shape it's in. A glass, a riverbed, you name it. And yet, over time, that same soft, gentle water can carve the Grand Canyon. It shows us a totally different kind of power. One that has absolutely nothing to do with brute force. So how do we actually tap into this kind of power? Well, we can boil it down to 3 key principles, 3 practical rules for living. And I want you to think of these less as philosophy and more like tools for a much less stressful life. Okay, so key number 1 is a concept called Wu Wei. Now, this sometimes gets translated as non-action, which is super misleading. This does not mean you just sit on the couch and do nothing all day. It's about a quality of action. It means moving in a way that's so in sync with what's happening that it feels effortless, totally free of all that friction and internal struggle that we know so well. The best way to picture this is to think of a master surfer. They don't paddle out and try to fight the ocean, right? No way! They watch the water, they feel its rhythm, and they position themselves perfectly to catch and ride the wave's own energy. That's Wu Wei. They're incredibly active, but they're not fighting. They're just in the flow. All right, key number 2 is understanding yin and yang. I'm sure we've all seen this symbol, but the wisdom in it is so deep. It's basically telling us that life is a dance of opposites. You need the yang, the action, the work, the noise, but you just as desperately need the yin, the rest, the silence, the ease. A lot of our stress is simply a sign that our lives are just way out of balance. And here's where we tend to get it wrong. Our world today just screams yang, yang, yang at us all day long. More hustle, more noise, more meetings, more effort. The answer isn't to get rid of yang. We need that energy. The solution is to consciously, deliberately invite yin back into our lives. Feeling burnt out? That's your cue for quiet. Feeling stuck? That's your cue for a burst of action. It's all about finding that dynamic balance. And our third and final key is what I'll call flexible strength. The perfect image for this is bamboo. When a massive storm rolls through, that huge, strong, rigid oak tree is the one that cracks and snaps in half. But the bamboo bends. It yields to the force of the wind. And when the storm finally passes, it just springs right back up. Rigidity is actually weakness. Real strength is adaptable. So what does this look like in your actual life? It's really simple. Say your flight gets canceled. The rigid reaction is to get angry and stressed. The bamboo reaction? Take a breath and say, okay, let's see where this detour goes. Or you get some harsh criticism. Instead of getting all defensive, you ask yourself, is there 1% of this that's actually useful? You take that and you let the rest of it just blow right past you. That's flexible strength. So now, let's put it all together. We can take these ancient ideas and use them as a direct antidote to the most common stresses we all face today. This is where the philosophy really becomes a practical life hack. Let's just map it out. You're feeling completely overscheduled, right? The fix isn't some complicated time management app. It's to do less. Protect your empty time like it's gold. You're struggling with perfectionism? You need to embrace the idea that good enough is a wonderful, sacred place to be. You're anxious about the future? The practice is to trust that life is unfolding as it should, even when you can't see around the next corner. And digital overload? The fix is beautifully simple. Go analog. Take a walk, cook a meal, draw something. Look, none of this becomes real until you practice it. It's not about just believing it. So I want to give you a super simple 5-minute exercise you can do literally the second this is over, just to feel the shift for yourself. Okay, here's the practice. It's 3 simple steps. First, just step outside or look out a window. Look at the sky and just whisper to yourself, I'm part of this. Just connect with something bigger than your problems for a second. Second, pause and be really honest with yourself. What is the one thing you are forcing today? Is it a tough email, a project you feel stuck on? Just name it. And third, just for a minute, let go of pushing it. Stop trying to force it, and then ask yourself this amazing question. What's the path of least resistance right now? What feels just a little bit more open, a little bit easier? And then go do that. Because ultimately, this isn't about adding some new, complicated belief system to your life. Not at all. It's about creating a simple, repeatable practice. You notice you're straining, you breathe, you trust there's an easier way, you align with that easier path, and then you just do it again and again. And this leads us to maybe the most powerful mindset shift of all. You don't have to go on some epic quest to find the Tao, the flow, the ease. It's already here. The real work is actually a journey of subtraction. It's about unlearning all the habits of pushing and forcing and resisting that we've been taught our entire lives. So I want to leave you with this question. In a world that's constantly telling you to add more skills, more hustle, more on your plate, what if the real secret to peace and effectiveness isn't about adding anything at all? What if it's about unlearning what's already in your way? What's one thing you could let go of today?